Hello, 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 and happy Monday, everyone. Super excited to be here with you today. I'm going to take a moment and ask that you share out the show, like and comment, and maybe later I'll do the same on mine. I still cannot figure out why can't I find your show on my page. Anyway, no biggie. Happy Monday, everyone. For those of you who are tuning in, whether you're watching from Facebook, hello, hello. If you are watching from YouTube or Twitter, hello, hello. Super excited to be here with you today. If you're kind of curious on who I am and what you're watching, let me introduce myself as I am Reverend Dr. Joanne Angel Barrick. Hello. And you are currently watching Joanne's Healing Within. And I'm super excited to be here as I am the founder of Holistic Fitness and Why. As someone who has guided women over 40 in releasing emotional weight without dieting, while holding space as they gain confidence and the courage to step away from their 9 to 5, outdated relationships, and old subconscious beliefs. My mission, my intention, my purpose is to witness each and every one of them as they unapologetically, transparently step into their soul's calling. And all that being said, remember the W in holistic is about the whole person. You are your emotions, your mind, your thoughts, your soul, and a spirit. So I want to welcome you today, tonight, to our show. Remember that everything does really start from holistically healing from within. Starts from within and then transfers out. So all that being said, again, super excited to be here with you. It's been a hot minute. So we're going to dive right into the process of the energy we have going on in this moment of time with our usual routine of checking in, seeing what the cards have to say, and also just to tap in a little bit on this energy that we have currently going on. Now, today, Monday, this week, literally starting as of yesterday, which was the 17th of May, this week in itself is a transitional week. And what I mean by that is that we're going to experience 4 planets shifting from one zodiac sign into the next. And when we have that many planets in less than 4 days shifting, that means there's going to be a lot of energy tapping into our physical body, which means for us women over 40, we need to be mindful of our nervous system and our chakra system as well. And just in case there's men out there watching, you too also need to be mindful because this energy does impact you as well. When we have this much energy flowing, moving from one zodiac sign to the other, our physical body is our messenger. So whatever symptoms may appear, whether it's a headache, tingling, digestion issues, ringing in the ear, lower back pain, whatever it is, know that those are symptoms. Your body is preparing you for some sort of activation that's taking place. Now, of course, as usual, as the waiver, if a symptom lingers on for a lot longer than you wanted to, by all means, go get yourself checked out. It's always a good thing to get yourself checked out because at least they'll give you a name to whatever it may be, and then you can do your homework. You can turn around and research the metaphysical meaning behind whatever that symptom is. I like to believe there is always 2 sides to the coin. So we want to pay attention to that. So with that being said, I want to pull a card, give you some insight to help you perhaps have an affirmation, tap into a chakra, and see how the numbers play along with today's energy. So let's see what we got going on. Oops, the card just flipped over. Oh, I think it's a perfect card for today. I'm going to see if we can see it with my background. See if I can hold it in the right spot. There we go. So the word is health, and I think that's so appropriate for the energy and the conversation that we are having today. After all, today's topic is all about Mars and Taurus, why your body is asking you to get healthy. So appropriate. And you saw that I shuffled the deck, so it's not like I pulled it from the side. The number is 33. So we talk about numerology in based on number 33. 33 is a reminder that we are all tapping into our highest frequency possible, and that every one of us are carrying the energy of, let's say, Buddha, the priestess, and even for that matter, we all have God within us. So we are carrying that energy, and the three is a representation of how we communicate, how we learn, how we speak, how we write, how we network. And when we take those two threes together, we get the number 6. And the number 6 is really the vibration of how our heart beats based on the vibrational number of 528, which is what we call the vibration of our heartbeat, which is that 6 energy. So the 6 is a reminder of how we need to nurture and heal our body, our mind, our spirit, and more importantly, our emotions. The color is orange, and based on our chakra system, orange is associated with our sacral energy. Our sacral is literally located right below the navel. And for all of us women, that would actually be sitting right in the womb, and it's the energy of our mother wisdom. It's also the energy where we store all of our fears and emotions. So if for whatever the reason you've been experiencing discomfort that might be showing up in your hips, in your sacrum, in your lower back, and maybe you've been diagnosed with sciatica, and what it may actually just be is that your womb area is being stretched due to all the energy we are experiencing in this moment of time. In addition to your sacral energy, you have your wisdom there, your desires there, your all of your creativity is there. So if you think about it, for the women over 40, even though you may be in that midlife period where you're transitioning from perimenopause into menopause, and in your mind you might be thinking like it's the end, and because you no longer can bear children, reality of it all is our sacral energy, our womb is going to become more active and more stimulated, because it's not just about bearing children, it really is about activating our creativity. And this is one of the reasons why this topic today is so essential, because it is really about becoming healthy enough that you tap into your deepest desire, that you have the desire to want to do those amazing things that you came here to do. And a big part of having the desire is to feel healthy in your own body and not feeling drained and not feeling fatigued and not feeling overwhelmed or distracted. So I think this card is so appropriate for the energy of today. So all that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to go over that card again, and we're going to take a deep dive into the conversation that I have in store for you for today. So let's take that quick commercial break. Well, welcome back. Guess what I found? I found us on Facebook. So yes, I am following as well. If you are just tuning in with us and you're not sure who I am and what you're watching, for one, you are watching Joanne's Healing Within, and I am your host, Reverend Dr. Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I know that name is so super long. So from this moment on, I'm just going to refer to myself as Joanne just for the rest of the show, just to tune it out. Yeah. Anyway, again, if you are just tuning in, no worries. I always go back to the introduction to give you some insight to what was said. And the card of the day, which is so perfect for our topic for today, is health. The color is orange. The number is 33. When we talk about the word health, are you at your optimum health at this moment of time? Or is there a need for improvement? Now, I would say for all of us, we can all improve our health in one way or another, whether that looks like nourishing our body with better food, nourishing our body by avoiding TV, radio, and anything that carries a lower dense energy, just so we can nourish our energy system, getting outside into nature, getting some of that vitamin D, making sure you're getting the rest you need, making sure you're meditating, whatever it is, in reference to enhancing your health so you can be a stronger version of you. And that you can really tap into your deepest desires and begin to create. Because one thing I know to be true is that when we're not feeling at our best, we're not energized enough to really tap into those deepest desires, nor are we energized enough to really create. And we're in a time now that creating is so essential and also really, really easy. And we're going to talk a little bit about that energy as we go along today. So when we talk about the color orange, that is a sacral chakra. So your sacral chakra is the second chakra that runs right below your navel. And it really is about tapping into your creativity and your deepest desires and releasing whatever shame, guilt, or judgment you may have towards yourself regarding anything that might have happened um, when you were a child or even into your teenage years or even currently for that matter. And that 33 is a reminder based on numerology that this is about being the master of your healing, being the master, being the priestess, being the Buddha, being connecting with God's energy, and knowing that when you put your body in the right environment, your body can heal itself by giving it all the essentials it does really need. That we don't necessarily need all the outside things that take place if we put our body in its right environment. So again, if you did not catch the beginning, today's topic's all about Mars and Taurus, why your body is asking you to get healthy. An extremely powerful conversation. And we're going to be diving into, obviously, astrology. And there's a chart I want us all to take a look at really quickly and get a pinpoint and understanding of what my life looks like. So there's an astrology chart. Let's see if we can get it up on a screen. Let's see if we can see that. So you can get a general idea of what an astrology chart looks like. If you've never seen an astrology chart, you'll get an opportunity. And if not right now, maybe in a little while, we'll get that chart going. In any way, let's break it down when we talk about Mars and Taurus. Because when we speak about this week in itself, starting as of yesterday, which was the 17th, every day, well, not every day, 4 days out this week, the 17th, today, which is the 18th, and then the next time is the 20th. So within a matter of 3 days, which is spread out throughout the week, we're going to experience 4 planets shifting from one zodiac sign into another. Now, yesterday, on the 17th, Mercury moved into Gemini, where it's very comfortable. It's its home place for that matter. Mercury is really about technology, and it's all about traveling between worlds and most definitely traveling where you're physically traveling in your car. It's about communication and learning and speaking. And Gemini is the exact same thing, which is why when Mercury transits in Gemini, they're very much at home. Now, what you will notice with this transit of Mercury in Gemini is that conversations are going to be deeper because we are in the intellectual sense of the air energy, because that's what Gemini is. And conversations are going to be quick as well. So ideas are going to come zooming in, and you're going to be in this process of wanting to do. You do need to coach yourself in this energy. Otherwise, what you might find yourself, what might happen is you may find yourself getting fatigued and overwhelmed at the same time because of that energy, all that energy flowing in. What I will recommend that you do is to keep a pen and paper by your bedside. Because again, depending where you do have Gemini on your chart, whatever house Gemini is floating in, know that you may very well experience dreams, and those dreams are just going to be delivering some messages. So you want to pay attention because those messages are actually answers to questions that you might have asked at some point or another, and you don't want to miss them. Also, pay attention that if you are being woken in the middle of the night, pay attention to the number on the clock, because that number on the clock is going to give you some insight as well. Because every number, based on numerology, has a meaning, and you take that number and you add numbers up. So let's say if you get woken up at, let's say 321. Now 321 right off the back is letting you know that everything's in perfect order. Now, when you add the number up 321, it adds to a 6. But before you get to that 6, you got to remember that 3 represents what are you communicating about. That 2 represents your partnerships that you're communicating with, professional or personal. And that 1 represents how you are being the leader in those conversations. So it's a big message to remind you that you're not here to wait for somebody else to start the conversation. You are here to take the initiative. So if you have an idea, pick up the phone or send an email out and take the initiative, let that idea out. Do not wait for the other person to reach out to you. So if you are seeing that 321, it's a reminder. If you see the number 1 in general, it's the reminder that it's your time to take the lead in this energy we have going on. So in addition to Mercury moving into Gemini as of the 17th, today, on this amazing Monday, and I love Mondays because Mondays are all about what I like to call the moon day. And why? Because Mondays are ruled by the moon's energy. And currently, this morning anyway, the moon was in Gemini's energy as well. So besides Mercury being in Gemini's energy, the moon was in Gemini's energy. And the moon is all about how we feel and express those feelings as well. And that was for today. Now, what also happened today, which is really the main event of the conversation for today, is understanding we had 2 planets today. And I'm just moving things around to see if I can get my calendar out to give you the exact times to when this happened without dropping everything on the floor. I don't know if I'm going to be very successful with that. I think everything's going to land on the floor. But let's see if I could do this, that everything doesn't land on the floor, right? You ever try to challenge yourself to see, can it be neat in any case? So in regards to today's energy and what was taking place today, exactly today, I want to make sure I'm in the right month because I'm always a month ahead of myself. All right, so May. So today we have both Mars and Venus transit. Mars moving out of its home, Aries. It's very comfortable in Aries, and now it's moved into Taurus. We're going to talk about that in just a second, just to give you a feel of what that actually means. But before we do, I also want to talk to you about the second planet that transited today. So the first one transited this evening, by the way, just a little while ago, at 6:25 p.m., we had Mars moving to Taurus. Now, theoretically, if I would have gone live as scheduled, we would have been in the live exactly at the time when Mars was getting ready to shift over. Now, we have Venus, and we're in the timeline. We have Venus that just entered Cancer at exactly 9:05 p.m. So when we think about Mars and we think about Venus, they're like the yin and yang energy of each other. So it's very significant that these 2 planets literally transited from one zodiac sign into another within about a 3-hour span of each other. Now, just to backtrack just for just a second, when we talk about Venus energy, yesterday on the 17th, when we did have Mercury enter Gemini, and that moon was in Gemini as well. And I also want to bring to the table that we do have Uranus in Gemini as well. But we're going to put Uranus on the back burner because it's not a big theme for tonight's conversation. Not that it's not big, it's just not a big theme for tonight's conversation. However, with yesterday's energy, we had Uranus, the moon, Mercury, and Venus, all in Gemini's energy at the same time. And why is that significant? Especially with Mercury and Venus, because Venus moved today. It's a Cancer. So for that one day, we had both Venus and Mercury, along with Uranus, sitting in Gemini's energy, activating our ability to communicate, activating our ability to create, activating our ability to write, activating our ability to network. I'm hoping you took advantage of that energy yesterday when that was all happening. Now, moving into today, where we have Mars and Venus, both moved. Mars is now in Taurus, and that's really the theme of today's conversation. Mars sitting in Taurus. Now, in regards to Venus sitting in Cancer, the connection between the two of them is, now I said a little while ago, that Mars sitting in Taurus is not comfortable because Mars is fast and fire, like Fast and Furious, and Taurus is slow and steady like a turtle. So just think of it, and I always use the analogy as, think of Mars as that race car, and Taurus is the turtle, and they're both on the racetrack. What kind of race is that going to be? Not a very fun one, because we're going to be sitting there rooting on that turtle, get it going, yet that race car is going to be flying. And that's the energy what we're going to be experiencing as Mars sits in Taurus for this duration of 8 weeks. Now, with Venus moving into Cancer, Venus is the ruler of Taurus energy, which is why Mars and Venus is such a significant energy right now, because of that crisscrossing, that I like to call it the crisscross energy, the almost like a conjunction going on, because Venus rules Taurus energy and Venus and Mars are opposition of each other. And them two are going to be playing together for a little while in regards to how we're moving across this transit between Mercury, Mars, and Venus. And do note that when we talk about Mercury, Mars, and Venus, we are talking about our closer planets, and they're literally traveling together for a little while. Now, if you know very little bit about astrology, the one thing I do want you to know is that when you speak about Mercury, Venus, and Mars, those are the planets that travel at a faster pace, as opposed to our outer planets, such as Uranus, who I spoke about before. Uranus stays in a zodiac sign for a very long time, particularly right now. Uranus is sitting in Gemini for the next 7 years. So Uranus isn't going anywhere. Yet Mercury sitting in Gemini at this moment of time, it's only going to be there for 3 weeks, and then it's going to move. So when we have Mars sitting in Taurus, Mars is only going to sit in Taurus for about 8 weeks, and then it's going to move. So with the closer planets, they do move more frequently, which is why we need to pay attention to them. Now, possibly, can I get that chart to show up on the screen? There we go. So now what you are actually looking at this moment of time is my personal natal chart. And if you look at all of the symbols on the outer layer of that chart that's in orange, those are the planets that are actually transiting my chart as we speak. Now, unless you can zoom in on your device that you're on, you'll see that there's in the center of the chart, there's numbers from 1 to 12. And where I have Mars, in regards to Taurus, now Taurus looks like it's a bear with ears. And when we think about it, it's in my 11th house. Now, in the 11th house, that's representing my community. It's representing how I collaborate, and it's representing how I connect. So because I have Mars there, and Mars is there at literally 1 degree. 1 degree is where Mars is. So 1 degree represents a new beginning. Now, when we think about the energy that I have with, I just look to see the difference here where I can help you better understand the chart, but I'm not going to go too much into it. I just wanted you to get a general idea of what a chart looks like when the planets are transiting. And you'll notice on this chart And your chart would look the same, just that the symbols would be elsewhere depending on where you have Taurus on your chart. Mine's in my 11th house. If you happen to have Taurus sitting on in your first house, if you're looking at this chart, right to the left side of that chart would be your first house, and that would be where Taurus would be for you. So anyway, so all the symbols that's in orange on the outside, and then look at the little empty spaces on my chart, which there are very few. We have an empty space sitting between the fourth house and the third house, and a little bit of the fifth house on the bottom of the chart. Everything else is pretty loaded. And again, this is my chart that you're all looking at right now. And this is what my life is going to look like as these planets are transiting through. So all that being said, when we think about these planets, and we can let go of the chart now and bring so everyone's not too confused. And if you're curious to know what your chart looks like, you're always welcome to grab an astro reading from me so you can see what's going on in your life at this moment of time. Because I like to truly believe that our chart is our navigation system. And when you can understand what the outside symbols actually mean and how they're playing and how you can utilize it so you can navigate what's going on in your life in this moment of time, like I said with Mars, transiting my 11th house in Taurus at 1 degree for the next few days, because that degree is going to change because Mars moves quickly. So it really is for me all about how I'm going to collaborate, how I'm going to connect, and how I'm going to really get out into my community to create a relationship. Because Taurus energy is about relationships, it's about self-worth, it's about value, and it's also about the physical body. So interesting enough, if you're like connecting the dots yet, based on what I do for a living as a holistic personal trainer, it makes sense to the work that I do where I want to get out to my community and help them really get into the best shape of their life. And when I use the word shape, it's not just about the physical as much as it is about just getting overall healthy, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, and soulfully. With that all being said. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we get back, I'm going to explain to you exactly what Mars and Taurus mean each house, so you can have an understanding for you, even if you don't know your house placements. So you can have an understanding to what the theme is that Mars is going to play for you for the next 8 weeks. And remember, today's focus is just Mars on Taurus. There's so much more, as you saw in my chart, going on that there's lots of things to look at. And this is what I do when I work with clients like you in helping you to see and understand your chart, get a better understanding to how to navigate when our planets do shift. Mercury, Mars, Venus. When we think about it, 3 days ago, Mercury, Mars, and Venus were in different houses. So the energy was very different. So when Mars was sitting in Aries, it was in my 10th house. And that is the public eye. That is the public image. Now I'm moving more to community, into connections. See the difference there? So let's take that commercial break, and we're going to come back afterwards. Did you know that astrology and numerology are the keys to helping you raise your vibration, understanding your unconscious behaviors, and will help you discover who you are from a soul level? Hello. I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, the founder of Holistic Fitness located in Queens. Your certified and licensed holistic personal trainer, holistic integrated teacher, Reiki master, medical astrologer, master of numerology, card creator, and card reader. I would love for you to come join me every Sunday for 12 weeks to discover your astrological and numerology makeup. For more information, email healingwithin76@gmail.com. I look forward to helping you bridge the spiritual and physical realms as you experience a body and soul transformation. Hello and welcome back. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Joanne's Healing Within. I am your host, Reverend Dr. Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. And if you are just tuning in now, of course, you're definitely going to have to come back and watch from the beginning because I've shared a lot of nuggets to help you get through this energy we're moving into. As I get super excited when we have so many planets transiting, as we currently have right now, with 4 planets and close planets for that matter. When I use the word close, meaning these planets move a little quicker than, let's say, Uranus or Pluto or even Jupiter for that matter. So anyway, as I mentioned before, I like to help you get an understanding to where Mars is on your chart based on Taurus, the house that it sits in. But before I dive into that, I want to give you an understanding. More like what I like to say is astrology is a language, just like any other language. When we talk about astrology, there's 3 main characters in astrology, and those characters are your planets, your houses, and your signs. Now, your planets give you the what. So in this particular case, Mars is the what. What is happening? So Mars is action. Mars is leadership. Mars is fire. Mars is quick thinking. Mars is making decisions. Mars is aggressive. Mars could also show up as anger, and Mars could very well be combat, where you end up wanting to fight because this energy is so quick that we're short-tempered sometimes with this energy. And as I mentioned, when Mars was in Aries, being at home, fire to fire, everything just ran so smoothly. And now that Mars has entered Taurus, and Taurus is the how things are happening. How things are happening. And Taurus is stable, it's slow, it's foundational, it's grounding, and it's also an earth energy. So here we have fire from Mars and earth from Taurus. Whew, that's an interesting combination. So you may find that you may get a little short-tempered because Mars wants you to make things happen, and Taurus is like, hey, slow it down a bit. Rightfully so. So when we think about Mars is the what, Taurus is the how, the house is the where things are happening, where things are happening. Now, for all of us, for most part, wherever you have Taurus in your chart, whatever house Taurus is sitting in. So Taurus can only be sitting in one house. It's not like Taurus is going to take up a rent in 2 different houses. It takes up one spot. So when we think about Taurus taking up that one spot, and I'm going to contradict myself and say that's not always true, because sometimes, as I just heard in my head, sometimes Taurus can take up 2 spots. Like I just heard myself say, no, that's not true. On my chart, I have Taurus. I have some zodiac signs that do sit between 2 houses. So if you do happen to have Taurus sitting between 2 houses, and it's so funny that I say that because I really do. I have Taurus that sits in my 11th house, and then I also have Taurus sitting in my 10th house as well. So see how it takes up 2 spaces. Anyway, so Taurus is Taurus, which is the sign, is the how things are happening. So when you're looking at your natal chart, you're going to want to know the how, because that's really the theme. How is it happening? And with Mars transiting Taurus energy, this is an 8-week journey that this is happening in. So we're going to dive right into it in regards to each of the houses, what they all mean, and what it means for you. So we're going to start with the first house. And first house is the only house on your entire chart that really represents you. Doesn't talk about anybody else in that house except you. And because it only talks about you, it's about self. So when we think about, when we're asking the question about Mars and Taurus, where your body is asking you to get healthy, what Mars and Taurus is asking you in first house is really about you, your identity. How do you identify to health? Do you say I'm healthy? Or do you find yourself saying I wish I could be healthier. So that's your identification. If are you in a space where you want to get stronger, or you want to eat better, or you want to get out and do the walk? Where are you and how are you identifying to this energy? And this is what the Taurus is going to help you with, is to identify what it is you want to do and how to go about doing it. Now, because again, Taurus is slow and steady, this is not going to be a quick fix. This is really going to be about mapping it out and creating a routine for yourself so you can do this at a steady pace as opposed to just diving in and burning out at the end, which is that Mars energy. Fire, fire, let's go, let's go. So that Mars Taurus in your first house is your identity. How do you see yourself based on the scale of being healthy? All right. Moving into second house for Taurus. If you have Taurus in your second house, this is all about your values, your self-worth. Do you feel worthy enough to want to be healthy? Do you feel like you're important enough, which is the word I just heard, to be healthy? Do you feel like that you're allowed to take time to, whether it's go to the gym, go to the park, go out for a walk, whatever it is, you feel like you are allowed to do that without judgment and without shame? Because that's where the focus is going to be for you who have Taurus in your second house. This is about releasing, letting go of the judgment and shame that you have for yourself if you were to take time for you. Because then that means you're going to have to take time away from your family, your friends, or spouse, because you want to take time for you. And there's nothing selfish about that. In fact, it's actually very selfless, because the rule of thumb is, until you can fully take care of somebody else, you need to take care of yourself. So that is Taurus in second house. Taurus in third house is really all about your physical body being the messenger. Your physical body being the messenger, because Taurus, again, is about the physical body. And it's the messenger. And what does that actually mean, the physical body being your messenger? This is where you may very well experience some symptoms showing up, whether it's headache, shoulder discomfort, maybe chronic back pain, maybe knee pain, maybe foot pain, whatever it is. This is your body giving you some information. And I do want to note that this is not going to be where you're going to experience this for the full 8 weeks. It's going to come and go, where you may find that, for whatever the reasons, when we think of Taurus energy, Taurus is very much associated with the throat and the neck. So we want to pay attention. And then I also want to throw in there, because we will have a lot of energy in Gemini. Gemini is associated with your hands, your arms, your shoulders, your neck, and your nervous system. So for us ladies over 40, going through those transitions, you want to be mindful, assuming you have Taurus in your third house. What is your body trying to tell you? Because there's a message there. Do not be so quick to write it off by taking something over the counter. Allow your body to go through the transition, to evolve, because that's really what's happening in this process of the message that's coming through. Once you understand the message, then there's a good probability that that symptom will then subside. All right. Moving into Taurus in the fourth house. So if you have Taurus in the fourth house, this is really about being at home in your own body. Do you feel at home in your body, in your own body? Especially when we talk about our ladies over 40 who may be approaching perimenopause. And for that matter, let's even talk about the younger ladies in reference to our girls who's just starting off with their menstruation, or our mothers who are just coming out of postpartum. Do you feel good in your own body? Because now, again, your body's going through all these different changes. Do you feel good in your body? So if you have Taurus in your fourth house, this is where you may be looking at your body, and there may be a lot of questions that are coming up on, do you like what you feel in your body? Are you comfortable in your own skin, is really what I just heard right now. That's fourth house energy based on helping you to get healthier at whatever stage of life you're in. So again, for our girls that's just starting their menstrual cycle, it may very well be a time where you're gonna be embracing the idea of what this feels like, the bloatedness, the moodiness, the whatever. What does that feel like for you? Are you feeling more at home in your own body? For our moms that are just delivered postpartum, besides having to take care of a baby, now it's just getting used to how your body is recovering from having a baby, whether it's natural childbirth or maybe you had a C-section. So again, do you feel comfortable in your own body? And then for our other women, midlife, perimenopause, or menopause, what is actually going on with your body? Are you experiencing the weight gain? Are you experiencing the digestive issues? Are you experiencing the acid reflux? Are you experiencing, and you fill in the sentence. Are you feeling comfortable in your own body? Taurus in the fifth house. This is about change and freedom. So this is about what do you need to change? What habits do you need to change so your body can get healthy? So you could be more free in your own body. What happens? Is it a matter of breaking out of the habit of thinking, well, I'm never hungry in the morning, so I skip breakfast? Well, we might have to break free of that habit because, again, by not eating breakfast, you're actually doing a disservice to your metabolic system by not eating breakfast. Rule of thumb, without making this about nutrition, rule of thumb, we really want to activate our metabolic system by eating within the first hour, if not the least 2 hours of getting up. And we never, 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 no matter what age you are, want to go and do a workout fasted, meaning that you're working out with nothing in your system. Not the best thing for your metabolic system, and definitely not the best thing for your nervous system. So we talk about what changes do you need to embark on so you can free yourself from whatever beliefs, habits, or philosophies you have regarding becoming a healthier, stronger version of you. So that's house 5. Now, if you are experience Taurus in your sixth house is all about health and fitness. Bottom line, it's health and fitness. This is where you may very well experience a pain or even an illness may flare up because that illness is there to help you learn something about you. And that's the sixth house energy is really about health and fitness. Sixth house energy is your nervous system. So again, for my ladies over 40, pay attention to what it is your body is actually going through. What changes are you experiencing? And remember to look at both sides of the coin, not just the logical and the science, but the metaphysical and intuition. Moving into our seventh house, Taurus. So if you have Taurus in your seventh house, this is your agreements. What agreements did you sign up for in this lifetime when it comes to your health? What agreements did you sign up in this lifetime when it comes to your body? Maybe you have an agreement to hold on to a little bit of weight, and there's a reason behind that weight. Whether that weight is there to help you stay grounded, help you get a little slower, whatever it may be. It's also about your belief systems as well, because it's an agreement. When we get to that place where we understand that we fulfilled the agreements that we came here to do, we can literally rewrite that agreement. And this is a perfect time with Mars sitting in Taurus, and then all this other energy we have going on with Gemini as well. Then we have the eighth house energy. Eighth house energy, where you have Taurus, this is about your massive transformation. This is really about working behind the scenes and undergoing a transformation where perhaps over these next 8 weeks, you may find yourself quieting yourself down and not being out there as much and really moving more into meditation, grounding. For my women over 40, maybe you're doing some somatic exercises to actually activate your womb energy, to activate your hips, to clear out whatever energies you have stored in your hips, because remember, our hips hold all of our emotions. So you want to pay attention to that transformation. And as we move into Taurus, if you have ninth house Taurus is all about really allowing yourself to quiet your mind, and create a relationship with your higher consciousness. Become more aware of the things you cannot see with your naked eye and tapping into your intuition. When you learn to tap into your intuition, you really become more tuned to your physical body. You become more tuned to all of your senses from hearing, seeing, feeling, sensing, and smelling. So if you have that ninth house, if you have Taurus in your ninth house, this is a perfect time to quiet yourself down and allow that Mars energy to help you make decisions in reference to tapping into your higher consciousness. Now, those of you who have Taurus in your 10th house, 10th house is your public image. 10th house is fame and success. So when we think about Taurus with fame and success, when it comes to asking what your body is asking you to do to get healthy, it's how successful are you at getting healthy? Can you award yourself? Can you recognize your success in reference, no matter how big or small the result is? This is what it is in reference to complimenting yourself, awarding yourself in whatever it is you're doing. So if you're out there taking that walk and you did it, recognize it. If you've done your progressive overload and you increase the weight, awesome, recognize it. That is the 10th house energy of the public image. The public may also recognize your results of what's going on with your physical body at this moment in time. Things start to also slow down when it comes to the results as well, because it's a slow and steady process. Nothing quick and rapid, slow and steady. Then we have Taurus in the 11th house, which, by the way, as I said earlier, I have Taurus in the 11th house. Now, before I dive into Taurus in the 11th house, I also want you to be mindful that when you are looking at your chart, do you have any other planets in the house that you have Taurus? Like I happen to have Taurus in my 11th and 10th house, and I also have Saturn there. Now I have Saturn sitting specifically in my 10th house energy, where I have Aries and Taurus. And when looking at my chart, I just want to see it again. Bobby, if you could bring up that chart, I'd appreciate it. If you could do that again, I want to see something, and I want the audience to see it too. So when we're looking at my chart, and we're looking at that 11th and 10th house energy, in the very beginning, where I have that 1 degree Mars energy, that 1 degree Mars energy is literally sitting right over my Saturn placement. Now, I know I have not mentioned the word Saturn the entire time we're speaking, but Saturn is the planet of restructuring your foundation. It's about your karmic cycles as well, and it's about boundaries. So for me, having Saturn in my Taurus placement, where I have Mars at that 1 degree, this is about what's going to restructure when it comes to my community, connections, and collaborations. So again, if you're looking at this chart, in the middle of the chart, where you see all the blue symbols, those are the planets that's in your houses. Now, some of my houses, I have packed houses, and some of them I don't have anything in. But the blue symbols are what's actually your personal planets, your personal natal planets in your chart. The orange symbols are the ones that are transiting your chart. So there you have it. Just wanted to point that out. So when we talk about the 11th house, if you happen to have Taurus in your 11th house, and maybe you don't have Saturn transiting your 11th house, maybe you have Pluto transiting your 11th house. So if you have Pluto transiting your 11th house, that's a major transformation. That's about things dying off. So again, Taurus is about your relationships. It's about your values. It's about your physical material possessions. So you may find that people, places, and things are dying off if you have Pluto there. But just an FYI, pay attention to your personal planets as well, because they add to the story of the how things are happening. So those of you who have Taurus in your 12th house, we can remove the chart from there. Thank you so much, Bobby. Those of you who have Taurus in your 12th house, 12th house is an interesting house because it's about things that go on behind the scenes. 12th house is your psychic abilities. And when we talk about Taurus energy. Remember, Taurus is your physical body. And psychic abilities is really very much associated with your physical body because, again, the process of connecting with any of your senses, whether it's through spirit, it's hearing them, seeing them, feeling them. So those of you who have Taurus in your 12th house, this may very well be what's the word I'm looking for? The word I'm hearing is earth-shaking experience where you may find that maybe you didn't know you were psychic. Maybe you didn't know you were a medium. Maybe you didn't know you were clairvoyant. And all of a sudden, within this 8 weeks of Mars being in Taurus, and remember we have that Mercury Gemini energy, which is about communication and also your nervous system. So for my women, and everybody for that matter, your nervous system is a big part of this transit. Because if there's anything going on with your physical body relating to your psychic gifts, your nervous system may get a little wonky because of the energies that you're picking up on. And you do want to be mindful that whatever energy you're picking up on, you may end up picking up other people's energies as well. So it's really important during this transit to make sure you're cleansing your energy at the end of your day so you're not bringing all this energy into your body, into your aura, and then finding out eventually that you're not feeling it because you absorb all this energy, and that energy is going to zap you. So it's really, really important as we go through this transition, as we go through these planets where, again, Mercury in Gemini, and we have Uranus there, as well. And by the 20th, the sun will be there too. So what is that? Mercury, excuse me, Mercury, the sun and Uranus. That's 3 planets. And currently today, the moon, but the moon won't be there much longer. 3 planets sitting in Gemini energy. And then we have Mars sitting in Taurus, where it really isn't very comfortable. And then, of course, Venus in Cancer. And Cancer is home. Cancer is nurturing. And Venus is comfortable there because it is a water sign. And with these planets transiting into these zodiac signs, during this period of time, this is really a transitional period for us to really become attuned to our physical body, to really make the connection to valuing ourselves and respecting ourselves and really asking that question, what is stopping you from being healthy? Because it really is at this point in time, and to just be harsh about things, you get a choice. You have a choice. You're choosing one or the other. You're choosing one or the other. You have a choice. So you can very well wake up tomorrow morning and say, you know what? I am intentionally making a choice to be a healthier version of me. And then you're going to start creating some habits to support that choice. And I do recommend that you actually get support to do this, that you don't try to do this alone, and you don't do it as a trendy fad, that you do it as a lifestyle. Because by doing it as a lifestyle, you're actually going to keep it up. Doing it as a trendy fad, you're going to burn yourself out. As soon as Mars moves out of Taurus, you're going to be done. We really want this energy to be sustainable. So there you have it. All right, we're going to take another break. And when we come back, I'm going to give you the conclusion of the show and just show you some promos that I have going on for you. And then we're going to end the night. So let's take that break.
Needs
All right, you caught me dancing. Anyway, welcome back. If you are just tuning in, I am your host, Reverend Dr. Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. You are currently watching Joanne's Healing Within, and we are really at the final end of it. So if you are just tuning in, please come back and watch from the beginning. I believe today was a great show. I am hoping that you walked away with something, that you learned something from today's show, and that you can apply it immediately into your everyday. So, as I say, there's always something for everybody based on our promos. So we're going to pull up, let's see, we're going to pull up that astrology chart one more time just to get everybody an idea, especially for anybody who's just tuning in at the end. So again, this is my personal astrology chart. This is what's going on in my life. The outer layer, which is the almond symbols, are all the planets that's transiting right now. So there's a lot of planets going on. And yeah, I have an interesting next 8 weeks with Mars in Taurus, and I'm sure you will too. So thank you. Inside are the blue symbols, which is my personal planets. So there's some work to be done here. And if you are curious about your chart, we could pull up the next chart called Astro Insight Play Shop. If you're interested in learning about your chart, discovering and navigating through, I am now offering Astro Insight Play Shops on a monthly basis. The next one is taking place on June 28th, 7:30 to 9:30. We come together, small groups. I usually see about 6 in the group on Zoom. And if you are interested, just go ahead and either go and reserve your spot on my website or just reach out to me on Facebook. Either way. The next one we got going on is our Blood Sisters Portal. Now, that's an interesting name, right? Blood Sisters Portal. Blood Sisters Portal is a beautiful magazine and community, and currently I am looking for amazing women who are experts or those who are interested in sharing their story, whether it's through their very first menstrual cycle, moving into motherhood, postpartum, midlife, whatever story you may have. If you are interested in sharing that story, I would love to have you become a part of our elite contributors or just share a story. You can either reach out to me directly, or I'm sure there's somewhere along the line. My email is there as well. So feel free. And if you know somebody that you may think would be a perfect fit for this, please have them come join. And do note that it does say community. So there is a community with this as well. It's not just a magazine. Again, my mission and intention with the Blood Sisters Portal is to really bring support for all of us women going through whatever stage of life we're in and make this become a normal conversation so no one is ever left out without knowing. Very quickly before I get caught off track, I just joined a group today, and a bunch of women were saying that why did they not know about perimenopause and menopause from their parents? And a big part of it is because that generation never talked about it. Our generation, oh my God, it's like the topic of the day. Anyway, so I don't get caught off track. Let's move it along. I want to give a beautiful shout out to Sherry Renee, who's got her bestseller going on. Now you can scan that QR code to grab yourself a copy and help her become the bestseller of How Can I Encourage You Devotionally. Go ahead and do so. So scan that QR code and help the sister out. The next one on the board is our digital launch party. Talk about helping a sister out. The next flyer will come up shortly. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Now, I'm not sure if you all know, but I have a new book out, The Menopause Portal, which, by the way, is where the Blood Sisters Portal magazine and community came from. The magazine and community is the baby of this book because this book can only be so big. There's so much information to share in the Menopause Portal. Now, a part of this book is all about literally tapping into the metaphysical truths of menopause, understanding the myths. Remember, there's two sides to a coin. So I would love for you to come and join me on May 30th. We will have the digital launch party from May 30th to June 1st. May 30th, we come together in Zoom. And from May 30th to June 1st, throughout the day, you can go and tap into Amazon. The link is there, but do not do it now. Don't do it now, which is why I didn't include a QR code, because I don't want you to do it now. If you are interested in attending the Zoom digital launch party, feel free to message me and I will send you an invite and we'll celebrate, enjoy, and have fun. I'm super excited for this. And by the way, if you look on that book to the very bottom left side, you'll see a beautiful patch. That's one of the book awards that I received. I haven't put the second one up yet. That's going to be coming soon. So I'm super excited to share this book out and get this book in front of and in as many people's hands as possible. And by the way, man, I didn't forget about you. There is a chapter in there for you as well. It's called the andropause because yes, men, you go through menopause too. It's just andropause. All right, guys, there you have it. All the nuggets for you. I am hoping that you actually got something out of today's show. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Oh my God, in June, which is not that far away. But till we meet again, enjoy the rest of your night. Bye bye for now.